Do you miss this era of gaming as much as I do? I just finished Half-Life 2 Episode 1, and it's a relic of a golden era for single-player FPS games. And we don't get anything like this anymore. I've got a lot of nostalgia for the time when you would get a great base game, a great single-player FPS game like Half-Life 2, and then you got story expansion content. I remember going to like Sam Goody as a kid, seeing Half-Life 1 on the shelf, but then also all these expansions for Half-Life. And I knew if you enjoyed the base game, you could go and get more of that awesome experience. You just don't get it that often anymore from the AAA space. Makes me kind of bummed because everything is either, multiplayer live service or it's pretty much open world sandboxy when it comes to FPS games. And there's something pretty magical about a linear, tightly crafted FPS title. Think of your Halo, your Gears of War, Titanfall 2, Doom 2016, Doom Eternal. There's so many awesome linear FPS single-player, experiences. And it really makes me question why we don't get any of these anymore. So, quick background, just beat Episode 1 for Half-Life 2. Not nearly as good as Half-Life 2, which we finished a few weeks ago, but still a lot of fun. You can beat Episode 1 in like 3 hours. It's only 5 chapters. But for me, who just finished Half-Life 2, enjoyed it, loved it, it was more awesome gameplay, more continuation of the story, awesome scenarios. It didn't really push the envelope in any way, but it was so nice to have. It was such a cool thing to see the story that I was enjoying and to get more of it. Granted, it's the one that people forget about. It basically is just there to fill in all the story gaps between Episode 2 and Half-Life 2, but I still loved it. And here we are today, and we really don't get single-player FPS expansion content anymore. We don't really get that many big single-player FPS story games anymore. In the indie space, sure, there's a lot of cool ones. Neon White and Dusk and Ultra Kill, so many boomer shooters. Like, it's going great over there, but the AAAs have said, nope, it's too expensive. They don't make as much money. Is that really the case? I think that the publishers the last few years have preferred the live service model because to them, it was viewed as lower risk, way easier to monetize, and you don't have to do as much, or it's not as much of a risk. And I'm talking about the low effort live service games. Make one multiplayer mode and then just sell skins, which is the trap that I feel like a lot of these games have fallen into. Think about, again, Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, the hype for the new Doom game. There's absolutely an audience who wants more single-player FPS content. But I would wager publishers look at the bottom line of a successful live service game and go, nah, we're not going to take the risk. We're not going to put the resources towards something like this. And we can't monetize it over 3, 4, 5 years, right? They don't see the long-term picture of the fact that people will buy Doom 2016 every Steam sale from now until the next 10 years, But I'm wondering if some of that is going to change with the recent failure of Concord and so many live services just being a warning message to publishers that it's not that easy of a space to jump into. It's not just free money for low effort. Maybe we will see some more of these single-player linear experiences. I look back at the old Halo games, and I've played through Halo 1 through like ODST and Reach, I guess, like over and over again over the years. And Halo Infinite was fun, Open world was something enjoyable, but I probably won't go through it again. There is something really cool about a tight, linear, well-designed experience the way Half-Life 2 is, where it's almost like going on a theme park ride. Sure, you can blast through like Titanfall 2 in 6 hours, but it was an incredible 6 hours, so much so that I've gone through it like 4 or 5 times. Plenty of my friends bought Titanfall 2 just specifically for the single player. And these have a lot of lasting appeal. Gears of War, another title that I can think back to the original, like Gears 1 through 3, playing campaign with my friends was so memorable and enjoyable, and I know that experience could totally work on a AAA level once again. There's so much emotional engagement that you get with games like that, where you really don't with just a live service multiplayer offering. It's not like multiplayer FPS games are bad, it's just I hope we see a shift to more single player FPS games coming back into the mix. It's probably wishful thinking, and like I said, the indie space is really filling this void. I'm not sure even if EA came out and said we're making Mirror's Edge 3, I would be very apprehensive at this point because of the last, 5-6 years of the games that they've released. I'm sure they would find ways to sell you upgrade packs through in-game purchases or whatever. They would work some sort of disappointing angle. So maybe it's silly to hope for those kind of studios to do it. But I really want to see passionate developers who have a bigger budget creating more content like this. And I want to ask you, do you miss this era as much as I do? Will we ever see a true resurgence of these kinds of games or episodic story content? Or is it something that is just going to remain as is? Because I'll be totally honest, when I wrap up this playthrough of the episodes of Half-Life 2, I'm going to be pretty sad because this has been amazing. It's like a wake-up call. We used to get so many awesome games. Think back to BioShock, Deus Ex, the old GoldenEye, Fear, Dishonored, Crysis. And I know it doesn't fall under the linear corridor style FPS game, but we're getting Stalker 2 in just a few months, and it looks incredible. And it is a high budget single player FPS game. I never played the original Stalker titles, just Stalker Anomaly, that mod, and it blew my mind. It was absolutely fantastic. And I just believe in my gut there's got to be a lot of other players and developers who crave these older kind of single player FPS experiences. And if we keep talking about the titles we like and raising a little bit of praise for them, I just think there's going to be a really cool like AA studio that's going to say, we've got it. We're going to make a really cool experience for this audience. If you haven't played Half-Life 2, I will echo it again. It is an awesome time to play. It has aged remarkably well. Plenty of people are going to say, hey, wait for the RTX Remix project, and you totally could do that. But at the same time, too, the Source engine visually has held up really well. So no harm in just playing it right now, because yeah, the RTX project does look cool with community-made like new textures and the ray tracing, but frankly, the game just still looks fantastic and plays even better. I want to thank you very much for watching the video. Let me know your thoughts on all of this down below. Thank you for 200,000 subscribers. I'll talk more about it later this week, but we will see you on Friday. Huge thanks, and have a good rest of your day.